Good afternoon and welcome to the College of St. Scholastica. I'm Larry Goodwin, the president here. I would love to be able to join you today, but I have appointments down in St. Paul. But even in this venue, I would like to kind of frame the conversation that you'll be having today. I'll start by saying that becoming a more diverse and inclusive community is one of the college's top 5 strategic priorities. And there are basically 3 reasons for this. First, and I think most importantly, we see diversity and inclusivity as essential to our mission, our values, and our tradition. So the idea of being a community that includes people from different backgrounds and makes them feel welcome here is an expression of the Benedictine value of hospitality. I think we could say that inclusivity is another word for hospitality. And then in the Catholic tradition, which is, as you know, a universal tradition, peoples from all over the world, there is a kind of a preferential option for the poor or the needy. And when we translate that into what it means to be a Catholic college or university, it means, among other things, that it's a place where people can come and people without a voice can have a voice. People who might not have been able to get educated can come find a way to be educated at this college. So the first reason for us to be an inclusive and diverse community is grounded in mission. And I say very often to our faculty and staff here, that's why work in diversity is not peripheral or add-on or secondary. It's really mission critical. So that's number 1. Diversity is also good for learning. It's good for academics. There's plenty of research that shows that the more diverse a classroom is, the more students have to examine their basic presuppositions and their assumptions, and they have their fundamental worldview challenged by people who come from different viewpoints. That's good for learning. If you have to stand back and examine the basic principles that you operate with. And a diverse classroom also presents the opportunity for students to exercise imagination and empathy. These are great liberal arts characteristics. Trying to really understand the world from somebody else's perspective. So that's the second reason diversity is important. It's good for learning. We talk about inclusive excellence as a way to achieve really good learning outcomes. Mission, learning, and then the third reason that diversity is important for our school, I would say is kind of the business reason. And here there are a couple of points. One is that the demographics of our state are changing. We are becoming a more diverse society in Minnesota and even in Duluth. And so as our school goes forward, if we're going to maintain our enrollment and our market share, we are going to have to enroll more students from diverse backgrounds, and we're going to have to be seen to be a good place for students from varying backgrounds to study. So there's the demographic reality. Also, if we are really preparing students to be successful citizens and workers in the 21st century, then they are going to need to be able to work with people who come from very different backgrounds. They will need to be, as we say, culturally competent. And this means that we, as faculty and staff at the college, must also become culturally competent so that we can pass this along to our students and prepare them for the world of work and the world of life. So those are 3 big reasons: mission, learning, and the practical business plan, why becoming a more diverse and inclusive community are important for the college. So the question is not whether we do this. The real question is, how do we do it best? And this is where Dr. Rona Halualani's work with us comes to bear. So we hired Dr. Rona to take a survey of everything that we're doing on campus and at our extended campuses and online that could be called a diversity effort. And she has done a diversity mapping project for us and has drawn some conclusions from her analysis. This gives us a baseline for moving forward, so now we have a way really to measure progress as we go forward. And then we have some very thoughtful suggestions from Dr. Rona about things that we need to do. And I'll speak for myself at this point. I've read her report, and I see three big messages that are going to shape the way we move forward. First is, we need to develop a coordinated, integrated strategy for how we're going to become a more diverse community. We've got a lot of good stuff going on, a lot of people doing a lot of good things, but we're not coordinated. And so the whole is not even quite the sum of the parts. We need to develop a coordinated strategy. That's number one. Number two, our coordinated strategic plan needs to have very specific goals and objectives that are measurable and for which we hold people accountable. So it's not enough to say we're going to increase the diversity of the faculty or we're going to have more students from diverse backgrounds. We've got to get more specific, get steps that are measurable, and hold people responsible for achieving them. And then the third lesson that I've taken away is that what we're doing right now, although it's good, as I said, it's not always coordinated, and it's also not sustainable. Because right now, our diversity efforts rely mostly on the goodwill of people for whom this is a priority. But in order to sustain this over the long haul, what we really need to do is to change procedures, policies, processes at our school that discourage people from different backgrounds from coming here. So we need to look at our marketing, we need to look at how we screen applicants, we need to look at how we onboard people, we need to look at how we evaluate and reward people, promote tenure. All of these policies and procedures need to be changed to be more accommodating to the achievement of diversity and inclusivity. So these are three big takeaways for me: coordination, accountability, and systemic change. So I commend Dr. Rona for the good work that she has done with us. I really appreciate the suggestions and the sort of guidelines that she's giving us for moving forward successfully. And I'm going to suggest that some of the things that we have learned here at St. Scholastica are probably principles that apply to other organizations as well. And on that note, I hope that you have a very successful and productive discussion this afternoon. Thanks for coming.